For the first time, we get a flashback for one of the others. Juliet gives a fertility treatment to her sister Rachel, played by Calamity Jane from Deadwood, and they go to a ton of trouble to convince us that this is on the island when it's actually revealed at the end of the scene that they're in Miami. Mostly it works, though unfortunately they do completely cheat by using an angle on the city where there are no beaches like the one we see. Juliet sneaks into her office to steal more fertility drugs since the work she's doing is illegal, and thanks to having the loudest cell phone in the world, she gets caught by her ex-husband Edmund, played by Zeljko Ivanek. He's an actor who has sleazy badass down to a science, so it's weird to see him as just this guy. Basically, he's here so we'll automatically dislike Edmund and sympathize with Juliet. Edmund finds out about Juliet's work with Rachel and blackmails her into letting him take the credit for it. Ah, wonderful, one more character whose flaws can all be explained away by a paper-thin evil character in their backstory. It's been a while since we had one of those, nice to see it wasn't dropped completely. Juliet is approached by another vague science-y company in the form of soon-to-be recurring character Richard Alpert, played by the man with the most naturally smoky eyes in the world, Nestor Carbonell. He's currently playing a moron FBI agent on Ringer, a show with a hokey premise that's still better than it sounds. Check it out. Juliet has to turn him down thanks to Edmund knowing about her, and then says she could take the job if Edmund was hit by a bus, a line so awkwardly placed that it's immediately obvious that's what's going to happen, kinda like that bit about child psychology from Friday the 13th 2. Rachel reveals that Juliet's stuff worked and she's pregnant.
My whole life, all I've ever wanted was to have a baby.
Okay, moving on from that extremely sexist line, we find Edmund insulting his mother, just because. Once again, I'm rather put off by their lack of faith in our ability to tell that someone is supposed to be a jerk. And then he gets hit by a bus Felicity style, making it even more pointless. Richard comes back with Ethan just so he can be as creepy as possible while asking Juliet again if she'll work with them. The rest of the story will be told later, but for now this is a pretty good start. After Jack gives his whole message, Sawyer and Kate beat the crap out of Pickett and Jason with one completely ridiculous bit where Sawyer shocks Danny with the food button and doesn't show any sign of being affected himself, as Kate actually pointed out would happen a couple episodes ago. And it's even pouring rain when this happens. Are we just supposed to think Sawyer's like Ernest and Ernest goes to jail now? Juliet sends one of the others out to bring Kate and Sawyer back, explaining to Jack about the whole Hydra Island thing. So Jack just randomly decides to tell Tom about her asking him to kill Ben. Then we see that Pickett and Jason were locked inside Sawyer's cage. Quite a feat considering Kate broke that lock in the last episode, which was just a few minutes ago. Continuity! Sawyer and Kate get to the beach, which is where Pickett, Jason, and the other guy catch up to them. They're saved by Alex and her trusty slingshot, again. She's pretty much an Ewok now, isn't she? Ben reveals that he woke up a while ago and heard the whole thing about Juliet. Oh, you're going to love how this ends up. Alex says she has a boat, but Sawyer's been through way too much by now to trust that this is being handed to them, so she says they also have to save Carl. More of people realizing you shouldn't take the others at their word. I like that. Too bad we won't be seeing much more of it. Ben asks to talk to Juliet alone for 3 minutes. Oh, you mean like those 3 minutes that Michael got with Walt? Seriously, it would so serve him right if Jack only gave him 1 minute here. We can't hear any of what they say, but there is this extremely awkward comic relief bit.
I'm Tom, by the way.
Yeah, he knows. He was there on the dock when Ms. Clue said it. If the people writing this show can't be bothered to keep track of this kind of thing anymore, then why the hell should I? Juliet comes out and announces that she's going to help Kate and Sawyer so Jack can save Ben now. Oh, and I'm completely sure we can trust her on that, aren't you? Juliet finds Kate and Sawyer with the cameras, and then they get into the building where Carl is in a pretty cool scene involving a Star Wars reference and Kate being fully prepared to kneecap the guard. That is certainly about where I'd be with these people by now. They find Carl in a room where he's constantly subjected to brainwashing images and noise, and may I point out, we're left to surmise that this is the same room Ms. Clue threatened to put Walt into. And just to refresh your memory, Walt is a kid.
We're the good guys, Michael.
Juliet lets Pickett know that Ben said to let Kate and Sawyer go, and he replies,
I know Ben would rather die than let them go.
Why? Once the tumor's fixed, what the hell do you need them for besides the sheer evil fun of it? Don't make me play the clip twice in 10 seconds. There's a bit of last-minute plot hole plugging about why they couldn't take Ben off the island to get rid of the tumor, and then Jack cuts an artery. Hey, just count to 5, that always works, right? Kate and Sawyer get to the boat, and Sawyer calls Carl Cheech, introducing a bit of a celebrity paradox as Cheech Marin will be playing Hurley's father later in this very season. Pickett catches up to them, but so does Juliet, and she kills him. Goodbye, you inexplicable, hate-filled bastard. Making fun of the others without you will be harder, but I'll try to keep it up. Juliet says Alex has to stay because it's the only way she can stop Ben from murdering Carl.
We're the good guys, Michael.
Huh, what do you know, it's not that hard after all. And I still can't believe this. They try to play Alex and Carl being separated for just as much drama as would usually be used for a pairing on the level of Desmond and Penny, despite our having no real concept of either of these people, and that's something that's not really going to change. Kate calls Jack and then actually forgets what he told her to use as the sign that she's really safe, so he has to remind her. Is it really too much to ask that the major female character not be completely useless? Jack makes her promise not to come back to save him, and off they go. Jack apparently fixes that artery through the magic of editing and asks Juliet what Ben told her. Juliet tries to blow it off, but finally, someone has had enough of this crap, and Jack won't stop pressing until she tells him. So she says Ben told her she could go home if she saved him, which he doesn't actually do.
We're the good guys, Michael.
My score for Not in Portland is 10 out of 10. The first other-centric episode is a big success, letting us know a lot more about Juliet so that we can actually empathize with her beyond just Elizabeth Mitchell's always engaging performance. And the island stuff is pretty great too, being very tense all the way through with a quite satisfying death for the quite annoying character Pickett. The 3-month hiatus may have been a mistake, but at least they came back with a bang.